Welcome to Interview Pro. In this video, I'm going to talk about strict equality in JavaScript. You might have seen me using triple equal to operator in a number of videos, maybe in the React.js playlist or in the JavaScript interview questions playlist. So let's try to understand this feature in depth. Before that, I'll show you a few questions. Try to guess if the output is true or false. Now let's try to verify if your answers are correct or not. Let's start with string 1 equals number 1, and if we run you get the output as true. When we use the equality operator using two equal to symbols, we are comparing just the values, not the types. Here string 1 can be converted to number or number 1 can be converted to string 1. So either the left or the right will be converted to the other type and the values will be compared. In the end, it would be 1 equals 1. Hence the output is true. If we use an extra equal to symbol here and see the output now, it would return false because the type of 1 is string and the type of 1 in the right hand side is a number. Though the values are equal, the types are different, hence the output will be false. This is the reason we call the triple equal to operator as strict equality. So the next example is 0 equals false. Let me run this and the output is true. This is because the value 0, the number 0 will be considered as a falsy value in JavaScript. Though it's a number, since 0 and false are both falsy values, the output will be true. With triple equals, let me run this, the output is false because Boolean value false cannot be equal to the number 0. Hence, the output is false. So, I have a variable which stores the current date and I am converting the same variable to a string and storing it in a separate variable. Now, if we say date equals string date and date triple equals string date, let's see what would be the output. So with the equal to symbol where we used a double equals, the output is true. And in case of strict equal to, the output is false because date is of type date and str date is of type string. Since the types are different, the output will be false. Let's take the example of arrays. I have an array of numbers 1 to 3 and a string of numbers 1 to 3 separated by commas. Now, I'm trying to use equal to and triple equal to on both these variables. Let me run this. The output of first one is true because array will be converted to string during the comparison. And the output of strict equality is false because the type of ARR is an array, which is an object, and str is a string. Since the types are not matching, the strict equality would return false. Let's take an example of objects. I have an object emp1 with a property name with value employee1 and I have another object emp2 with the same data. Now, if I try to compare employee1 with employee2, what would be the result? And let us assume we have another employee, employee 3, which is assigned with employee 1 variable. Now let's see the output of all these three console logs. So the first one is false. Though we used a double equal to, which is not strict, since the values are equal, it should return true, right? But in case of objects, the reference will be compared in both double equal to and in triple equal to cases. So since the references are different, this object will be stored in one memory location and this object will be stored in other memory location. These two are two different objects and hence this console log would return false. And when I say EMP1 equals EMP3, EMP3 is assigned to EMP1. So these two variables are pointing to the same memory location where this object is stored. So the reference will be equal and the value is equal. So the output will be true. Even in case of triple equal to or strict equality, it would be the same. So in case of EMP1 triple equal to EMP2, since they are two different references, though the values are same, it returns false. Here I have an interesting comparison. Null double equals undefined. Let's see what the output will be. So the output is true. So null and undefined both are falsy values which indicate the object is not uh, having proper value. It is either not assigned with any value or it is intentionally made null. So both are falsy values, so the comparison would return true. But what happens if I use strict equality? Now it would be false. This is because let's try to understand what is the type of null and the type of undefined. Let me just run this. So the type of null is object and the type of undefined is undefined. These two types are not equal and hence the strict equality would return false. Uh, you might have cases in your project where you are trying to check for the value of an object, and based on that, you want to give a notification to the user requesting for proper data. For example, I have an object var obj equals null, and I have some logic where I try to check if the object is undefined. That means user has declared the object, but no value is assigned to that object. So in that case, I would like to tell the user that you have not defined the object yet. Or if the object is null, I would like to tell the user that that the object you are trying to access is null. So let me just run this code. As per my logic in mind, since the object is null, I want this message to be printed on the screen. So I have this message because null double equals undefined. Since both are falsy values, this will be true and I am seeing this result. But what I want is this one. In order to get that, I need to use strict equality. Now, since these two are two different objects, it would become false and it goes to the else block and this condition would be true. So, okay, let me just use triple equals here as well. Okay, so this would be false and it goes to the else condition and this condition is true. So I am seeing the expected output. I have another example here where I am trying to compare positive 0 and negative 0 with the simple equal to function first. And of course, these two are same values, so it would return true. And what happens if I do triple equals? This will also return true because plus 0 or negative 0 both are same. Their value will be equal to 0 and both of them are numbers. So this would be true. So finally, I have one weird comparison for you, which is not a number equated to not a number. Let's run this. It's false. And let's see what it returns with a strict equality. And it's a false. So what's happening here is if either of the sides is NaN, just remember the equation would be false. I know this is weird, but this is how the JavaScript comparison algorithm works. So if you want to really compare if the object is not a number or not, for example, I have uh, some input from the user and I'm trying to see if it can be converted to a number. So let's run it. The output is NaN. So let me just see if this is working or not. Again, it returns false. In such cases, if you really want to compare if your output is not a number, you have another function in JavaScript called isNaN. So this function would check if the value passed inside this is not a number or not. If this result is NaN, this function would return true, otherwise it would return false. Now it should return true because we have already seen that this value is NaN and this function recognized it as NaN and hence it is returning true. So this comparison will not work. If you want to check for NaN, use this function isNaN. These are simple concepts, but they would play an important role in our day-to-day coding. I hope this video was helpful. If yes, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Interview Pro. Thank you.